Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to David Bell's Tang Show. I am Master David Bell. Tonight, I am just, as usual, extremely excited. Just for a few things. Just for me, this run in Fremont is nearing 15 years now. It's been beautiful, but there's a couple of things I want to highlight tonight with this show. First, I want to give you a little bit of, you guys been following me, we're right at 80 shows that I've been doing here at Comcast. The school is 15 years old now, almost 15 years old. My background as a martial artist, I came into Tang about 30 years ago. Now I want to close that gap just as quickly as possible. I opened a school here in Fremont in declared first Tang of Fremont in 1991. I actually opened a school in 93. As a martial artist, for years I just taught martial arts, and taught martial arts in a sense, or as a way of life, a stronger way of life, more substantive way. And I tried to introduce that to the city, that particular way. I'm always advertising structure, promoting discipline, creating a more balanced individual. And the school has kind of evolved from that sense of martial arts into what I'm calling somewhat the Healing Arts Center, or Healing Arts. Now, for the 30 years that I've been training, there's always been this strong sense of structure and a strong sense of concentration, focus and concentration. So I've always advocated that. Whether it was from the fighting art, just take a fighting art, there's an opponent. Where we've studied traditional forms where we've had to make up the opponent. There was no opponent there. So we've studied these forms that were traditional, 400 and 500 years old. So trying to make up that opponent and then understand the correct way to do a physical technique without actually having an opponent there. So that's kind of challenged us physically. And then to be able to go through this breathing to ease the physicalness of it. It's just been a beautiful, beautiful little ride. Now let me bring you to maybe the early years of yoga for me. I started a class in yoga. At first, my approach to yoga, to promote a stronger sense of blood circulation. Okay? And that's number one. I feel like if you can stretch the muscles apart, open them up the right way, stretch them apart, a stronger sense of blood circulation would go inside of the muscle, filter out the toxic trap inside of the muscles. That's to promote, just in a simple sense, just a healthier body. Now, that's the very basic. Now, the stretches we go into a lot of times or really requires just first knowledge about the body, how it will stretch. Okay? And then the sense of mind being with the stretch, or the stretch will break down and injury will occur. So, and then balance breathing and the body's reaction to just relaxing and breathing. So what I've described to you in these two arts so far is a balance between the mind, body, spirit. And that's I guess the focus of my training and what I feel like I have to offer. Now, I'm going to, I will probably end up in this show with the third art that's a Chinese art, a healing art called Qigong. Okay? Qigong is not an art that I created. Qigong is a Chinese art that's been studied for some 4,000 years. Now, Qigong allows us to study a system of energy and how actually energy travels throughout the body. That's been a beautiful study. But now let's take it back a little bit. A few years ago, I think 92, I did a series of 3 shows called Celebrating Life. David Bell Celebrating Life. And I did 3 30-minute shows. That was, the first one was just martial arts. Now this, I have so much fun doing this because it's always fresh. And it's fresh if I do it today. If I show it to my students 10 years from now, it's just as fresh. It doesn't change. And these arts are old, Tong Sudo, 2,000-3,000 years. Yoga, another 3,000 years, and Qigong said to be more than 4,000 years old in the practice of study. So it doesn't change. Now me standing here from time to time, as I learn more, I might reveal more on a show. That's the only way it becomes a new show, because a show on Qi that I did 10 years ago or 8 years ago, still just as fresh today. So that's where we are. Martial arts forever. Now my recommendation in teaching and kind of the way I've evolved in teaching these 3 arts in this community, from 1991 I pretty much took on because the martial arts was very attractive to youngsters or young adults. So I took on a lot of the kids and a lot of the teenagers and young adults in the 20s. But the approach was the same. But I always had little Johnny. If Johnny was mischieving or whatever, Dad would bring little Johnny. You know, whether he'd been labeled ADD or whatever, he need more activity. So I always took on little Johnny. But here's the thing that I found out. And this has been my challenge to this community for all this time. Little Johnny was always just a product of his environment. And that, I think, deserves a deep breath. Little Johnny, a product of his environment. So I took little Johnny. Mom and Dad would drop him off for the most part. Never even stayed to watch little Johnny's class. Never even stayed to try to understand my philosophy to get little Johnny to settle down. Just report to me when little Johnny was misbehaving. And always say, Master Bell, I like those 5 codes, especially that one, obedience to parents. I like that. But over the years to come, I would find out that for me to be more effective, I had to take little Johnny and little Johnny's environment, and I would have to help everybody to grow. So that was my take and my approach in offering the martial arts to the community. Now, I want you guys to stay tuned because I want to kind of show you how the Healing Arts Center, the First Tang Sudo of Fremont, is kind of evolving into a Healing Arts Center. So you guys stay tuned. Okay, you guys, thanks for coming back. Now, what I want to try to do now in this little half an hour is I started off by kind of giving you an introduction to, you know, the arts, the martial arts in the community. And not just the martial arts, but I really try to address situations for families or individuals to make their life stronger simply by introducing a type of structure to create a stronger sense of discipline. We left off the last segment with little Johnny and trying to address his little issues, ADD or asthma or whatever that was. And I always try to address it on a holistic approach. Now, once I get little Johnny settled down, I never had or I didn't have anything to offer little Johnny's environment, who was calling the shots for little Johnny at home. This is where we are. We live in a society that's just perpetuated by what we can accomplish or what we can accumulate. First of all, we live in a community that is very, very expensive. So, and not just this community, but a society where both parents are working now. You know, we have this idea, this liberal idea, traditional idea, where there is mom, dad, 2 kids, maybe 2 cars, 3, 4 bedroom house. Dad, good profession, maybe a lot of situations just not cutting it to support that. So both parents are out of the house now. What happened to that idea of raising little Johnny, keeping him strong, structured environment at home? Well, we all know what happened to it. I would say now we have to try to address the stress from little Johnny's environment. This is when I introduced the art of yoga. Now, as a martial artist for 30 years, I've always had to do a sense of preparation of the body to train in a rigorous art, martial art. So I've always done stretching and preparing the body. But now, in September 92, September 2002, I introduced the First Tang Sudo of Fremont, a yoga class. Now, I teach martial arts on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. 4 classes on those days I offer. On Tuesday, Thursday, I offer a yoga class. From 10 to 11:30 morning, 7 to 8:30, Tuesday, Thursday night. What has this done? I have little Johnny Monday, Wednesday, Friday, encouraging his parents to sit and be a part of his class, but sit. Then on Tuesday night, Thursday night, I actually bring the parents that's not interested in the rigorous of martial arts training, but a more subtle approach to the same thing. Balance between mind, body, spirit. So let's take an hour and a half, 2 days a week, and really give little Johnny's parents a sense of stability, balance, and just the discipline to give yourself those 2 days. That gives you an incredible sense of ease to shed some of the tension from such a competitive workplace. And that whole myth of where we are in our society, turning a want into a need. Okay? So, I bring the parents. Right now I have an age group, average, 30 to 60 years old. And it's a beautiful approach. For the most part, the doors are locked. The lights are down, candles, soft music, water, and just time out from everything. I'm watching now, and this when I say the school is evolving into a healing art. I'm watching the progress now in these later years. Well, I have those 15 years as an instructor, so I have grown. I know what works. I've looked at little Johnny over the years, and I've taken it, off of little Johnny, just little bad kid. It's not that. They're not bad. They're just kids. They don't know anything. Just need somebody to teach them. Okay? That's where we are. Parents are not, for the most part, not bad. The whole approach to this developing a family is a good approach. It was the idealistic approach, traditionally. Where do we get lost? Well, I don't need to get into that. But just being a part of the greatest society in the world. And might I remind you, also the highest level of stress. Okay? So that's how we're evolving into a healing arts center. Martial arts, tremendous for me. For years now, just 30 years. Coming into yoga is just quietening, taking me back, taking me away from Main Street. And just watching. Now I'm able to watch families just really get back to the beauty of just having kids, loving them, taking time to just raise them up and make a difference. And out of all of that comes a sense of realness. Yeah, we still want to have nice things, and we will. But everything we want, we don't necessarily have to need it. Okay? We don't have to accept things like migraine headaches, acid reflux, high blood pressure. We don't have to accept these things as normal. That's the most ridiculous thing, but that's where we are. I would say to this community or this society, try and keep something in your life that's not going to show a sense of a tangible payoff. It's nothing to, to show off to your friends about having a yoga class that's tangible. There's nothing to show. There's no trophy to sit up on the mantle and say, yoga. It's not there. But a sense of balance and peace in the way you carry yourself. Just the way you present yourself in the checkout line, in the grocery store. How tolerant, how patient are you to go to the post office and sit and wait or stand and wait? How are we activating? How are we driving down the road? Road rage. How much peace do we have in our life? And how healthy are we? And how well are we adjusting to enjoy all of this payoff of competitiveness once we get the big house, the big car? How healthy are we? So, this is what I try to bring to the community in helping little Johnny and then helping his environment. Now, the last place I want to go, I guess sometime in the mid-90s or closer to the end of the 90s, 97, 98. I was introduced to a well-known Qigong, Chinese healing master. Just recognized by him by possessing this strong field of energy, Qi, around me. I don't know if I paid a lot of attention to it at that time, but I know I had a good, strong sense of energy from my beginning, that I had the idea, the notion that energy would be stored in this part of the body, the abdomen. And if I trained in martial arts and always kept my spine erect, that energy would be activated and housed here, but then sent throughout my body. And as I move with balance, that would give me that sense of balance and really activating that energy. So I just kind of credit the martial arts for me being recognized as having that type of energy. Now, this master brought to me a deeper sense of that energy. First, for myself, more knowledge about it. And then the opportunity to train and to understand how well and how that energy traveled throughout the body. So I studied that for about a year. And then I was invited to really understand how I could actually emit my energy to other people, open up meridian lines, clogged pressure points, to really give other people a boost in becoming healthier. Now, I offer at the school a 2-day seminar once a month to first just learn about this energy. Really, I'll go into just taking a person into an incredible sense of relaxation. Just really just a strong sense of meditation, and with mind relaxing the body with the mind. And then once the body is relaxed, the mind is relaxed, the energy can start to move. So in my 2-day, 2-hour seminar, we're talking about 8 to 10 positions. How to sit, stand, and lie down with the same pattern of how the energy flow through the universe. So, evolving from a martial artist into somewhat healing arts. Now, let me make this perfectly clear to you. I admire that place or that identity, a teacher. That way I can learn with you. So I don't know if teacher is proper, but I'll accept that, teacher. Healer, I don't want to be responsible for all of the chaos, the chaotic way you live. I don't want to be responsible for taking all that away from you. I'll try to help show you what caused it, the sickness, just by listening to your way of life, if you're willing to tell me. But now, a teacher would just stop, and allow you to look at this job, 99,000 hours a week, with no sleep, no food, cause headache. Now, you want to get rid of this headache? You got to clean up your environment. That's the role I like. Of course, I might can add my energy and help give you a boost for that initial band-aid to put on that headache. But you go right back to the stressed out life, and where are you? Right back to the same headache. Right back to the same acid reflux. Right back to your toxic way of living. Okay? Evolving from a martial artist that really had a need for something in his life to now a pretty seasoned teacher in this community. 3 beautiful arts. Tang Soo as the martial arts geared toward more of a vigorous physical workout, then yoga for the seasoned society, middle age, and then Qigong for really rejuvenating energy. So I'd like for you guys to know, if I can help you, give me a call. I'll be down at First Tang Soo Fremont. Just give me a call if I can be of any help to you. So I really appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight. Look at some of my previous shows too, and you'll see me training in these 3 arts. Check out the website, www.fremonttangsudo.com.